You. Well, coming at you in the morning here. I don't know, the Trump man has no clothes, right? Hey, that's a nice suit, Mr. President, man. Everybody's a little screwy. So anyway, so I just figured I'd try to say something measured about the ongoing war and or wars and or conflicts and or ceasefires and names only happening, in the region of the Middle East, which affects certainly our country because one of the people involved with it, let alone the other ones, right? But I don't know. Maybe I'll start by saying something to the Israelis as our allies in the ongoing conflicts, right? And then maybe I'll say something to the Americans. I don't know, but it's a thorny situation, and I'll put it to you this way. I mean, first of all, it is good that you are talking to Lebanon, just in general. I do understand it, because if you're never gonna solve whatever your issue in Lebanon with Hezbollah with military alone. You're never going to do it. And in addition to that, you're going to have to police yourselves as always, because no one's saying you do not have right to self-defense, but you said it yourselves and you understood it yourselves. When you go to war, a hot war with Iran, which yourselves as well as the Americans did back 90 days ago now, because we've had 50 days of this ceasefire, with love taps and all that, whatever our president is saying about it, right? And so you understood, yes, that involves a certain amount of pain for your people, where they're going to allow bombs and they're going to do this, and then you had 40 days of that, where they have warheads and you had to use Iron Dome, and they're going after the other people in the region as well as your country, and and all of that is so. But I'll tell you where the problem lies. If you just so you can't say you do not understand it, because what happens is, sure enough, Hezbollah will fire rockets into the northern side of Israel because they have plenty and they can reach them, right? And so you wind up sometimes with 8 civilians dead, 20 injured, after a barrage of Hezbollah rockets. And I understand. You can't do nothing, right? And that is so. The problem, the part you don't ever want to realize, is when the disproportionate response is such that now you have 900 Hezbollah dead, but 1,000 civilians, half of them children who had nothing to do, over such incursion. It's not, and if you do not understand, that doesn't protect your country. That breeds more Hezbollah in the run. I mean, so you would have to know that. So that's why I was actually very good that they did go along. And when they first proposed this ceasefire, which was like 45 days ago now, right? It was predicated on if they're going to open up the strait. And it's just not, but going back to Lebanon, I mean, if you do not understand that, what does Hezbollah not want desperately? And they said it the whole time. It's not surprising they keep breaking ceasefires, because they keep saying, we're going to keep bombing. You didn't ask us. That's nice if Lebanon and Israel say they have ceasefire, but then no one, assures them, no, they don't, and they're going to keep firing rockets. On the one occasion that Trump specifically said, no, I just talked to Hezbollah by phone or some rep, and they said they're not going to do if Israel doesn't. Okay, so Israel now do 2 hours later, they fire more rockets. They're just going to keep daring you. And then if you make a mistake of disproportion, if you shoot enough of the wrong cars, if you do. So you really have to understand that about it and not take the bait for yourselves, right? And no matter what, they don't want, and they desperately don't want, a situation where you have normalized relations between Lebanon and Israel, and they're two self-sovereign, strong enough countries at peace with one another. with a peaceful border. Hezbollah cannot exist in that environment. They understand that's a death sentence to them, and they go the way of the dodo. And so they don't want that. So they're going to keep throwing bombs in. But if you keep meaning it with such disproportionate, that's all. And you do know that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's your own people. I am rightfully so. But then, But alone, let's not pretend everybody's, on any side here or any military is completely beyond reproach. When you have nut jobs, I mean, not only did the first thing they did when I got into Lebanon was they're going to decapitate Jesus or whatever. And then in the West Bank, I mean, babies getting shot, dogs getting beat, someone throws a rock, they're met with a I mean, this is a long, decades old. Let's not pretend there's no problems there on the, crazy ideology on the side of some of the, people even on your end, let alone the Muslim ones on the other end. I mean, why would you act like it's that? I mean, that's ongoing stuff that you can't even focus on. When there's, you're giving these people, that's why you would be very mindful to not want to overstep to the point where it breeds even more radicals, right? But then sometimes, it seems like they're specifically trying to, pick things that, but I don't really think, if you just look at this last tit for tat, Hezbollah did break the ceasefire. That's the Iranian proxies. They agreed to a ceasefire. Israel and Lebanon, and then the Iranian proxy fires missiles in, and they break the ceasefire right away. They provably are the ones who break it, the Iranian proxies. So then the Israelis respond, usually with disproportionate, that's not even close to eye for us. Just that thing. You're gonna have Yahweh a problem. You keep doing that, but I assure you, but. So they respond to Hezbollah breaking ceasefire, and then Iran says, now we're going to fire 11 warheads, like the Israelis broke it. No, Hezbollah, the Iranian proxies broke it, if you're trying to technically, pay attention. No, Israel didn't break the ceasefire. No, it was Hezbollah. But the point is the sky is blue. So, if you're just sitting there waiting for, you would want peace for yourselves and the Lebanese civilians and the entire region, all the countries. And then as for Trump, I don't know the deal. Anyway, so I'm praying for all the countries, the people of Lebanon, the people of Israel, even the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza. No, really, because it's a complete. Things could get out of hand, or maybe it has to shake out. Obviously, this is not a short affair. Obviously, Trump does. It's not some 3 to 4 week thing because he didn't decide to do it that way. Now, all right. So I guess for the time being, but as far as responding to 11 right now, you had to respond to that. You cannot. Whatever Trump would say with the love taps, he said that even when the Navy got drones shot at them because he needs it to be called a ceasefire, or he's got congressional problems, so could easily solve them, but why bother? Anyways, so I wish you luck. If I were you, I wouldn't be so keen even in Lebanon, let alone in firing and around. Balls in their court. Wait a minute, they clearly broke ceasefire first. Hezbollah, then you responded. Okay, then Iran decided to break the ceasefire for their part, 11 warheads. So, okay, you bombed back. Okay, so now you can defer back to Trump and now there's Trump. Right, so you're an American. Maybe I'll speak more. We have a similar vernacular. So I cannot help but notice you seem thoroughly retarded at the moment. Just a complete quackamadoo. So, what deal, precious? What deal? Deal? I would encourage you to go back to what you said 90 days ago at the beginning of the war, which is like the third tweet down on your timeline to this day. What you said to the world and the Iranian people about the very people that you keep assuring everyone you're real close to a great deal for everyone. When Horseshit, sir. There's no deal, and even if there was, it would not be worth the paper it was written on. You could wipe your ass with it. That's about it, sir. You do know that. I would take every last thing you ever said about the Obama deal, and why would he just agree with it? Why would he trust the Iranian? Well, wait a minute. You just want to force a square peg through a round hole, or whatever you would say. You know, they say for themselves, sir, you're so far apart on a deal. They want $24 billion in their frozen assets, half of which up front before they will even think about opening up the strait. And what does opening up strait even mean? Because they don't have Navy, to your point, but yet they're still able, clearly, despite that, they are still able to scare people off, because even if they just have some fast boats that can drop mines and should you let them, I mean, then they're gonna do that. So that's what they did. They don't say, okay, we're not gonna do that, we give up. And surely, like, you can't give them frozen assets just to return to the status quo of before your war, so that's why you can't release any money for just them. They didn't even when they tried to say the strait is now open, just come check in with us and pay us the $2 million. I mean, they're all being slippery, sir. All they care about is money and staying in power. Their backs are against the wall, that regime, to the point where they know they're fighting for their existence and their survival, same as Hezbollah. They don't want to go the ideological way of the dodo. You see their people are still super pissed at them. The second they turned on the internet, sure enough, the people are thrilled to write for themselves. They don't like that regime. And just the last 12 hours, they had to cut the internet again and turn it off again, because the propagandists can't handle these people railing against them. So in an environment like that, when the smartest thing you've done so far is at least you blockaded the blockade. Because lest the whole world forget, you did not do a blockade. Iran did the blockade. There were 5 to 10 ships getting through the entire time there was war. It's understandable they had limited options, and so they did that, but they did that. And then they would not open it back up. So you had a situation where only 5 to 10 ships a day, and they all had to pay them $1 to $2 million in cryptocurrency. So they're making about at least $1/10 billion a week, even during this. So they figured, they're in no rush to negotiate. Then you did the blockade. Boom, right away, all they care about, blah, blah, blah. You say they're good negotiators, sir. They're in Iran. They are not good negotiators. It's just you're a shit negotiator yourself, sir. No, really. Look what you're doing, sir. These people are bullshit artists. They are wasting your time, sir. You're not close to a deal, sir. If you get any kind of deal, it would be something where they agree the straits are open in exchange for lots of money. The blockade goes away, all the pressure, a lifeline is on, and you've signed something into writing where you've normalized keeping them in power whatsoever, sir. If you were to do a deal with everyone in the region, the only people you would not care about signing it would be that regime, sir. And who are you listening to, sir? And then you act like, all you care about is a deal. You're fixated on a deal when, as stated, if you go back and look at what you said at the beginning of this war, nowhere once was there anything about a deal or needing to do a deal with the same exact nut jobs that can't be trusted to enrich their own uranium by your logic. And by the way, they can't. They have a track record. Of course they're trying to do that. That's the whole point. Even Russia and China and people understand, no, they shouldn't really have a nuclear weapon, that particular regime. And why do you think? Because, of course, you're right about that. But you see, you've set them, they can't. Less worried about that at this second in time, especially after you even point out only yourselves and maybe China, only ourselves and China can even have the technology to get the buried uranium. It's less of an imminent threat at this moment in time, for sure. So, you keep You sound stupid, sir, because you're being stupid, sir. First of all, it's the Iranians using your stuff against you because you got 5 days or else, 3 days or else, 10 days or else, 5 or 6 days or else. I'll tell you. So every time you have done that, not only do you look stupid, sir, and you have more than done that enough times, sir. But the Iranians are using it as propaganda, not just CNN, who then picks up on it and tries to bait you into some kind of... It's not like I want war or more conflict, sir. But what you're doing right now does not make a shred of sense if I compare what you're saying now to your position 90 days ago for yourself to the world when you went out and explained why it is you have done this war with Iran. At least you got the Ayatollah on the first day. You would have had a different situation because he would have been able to pick up a phone and coordinate much better than these people who decided to lob bombs at Dubai and everywhere else. But it's just, look, we got lots of problems on our own. It's not my place any more than anyone else's per se to have anything more than an opinion on it. But... I mean, it's gone on too long for myself who was chimed in about it before to not want to chime in again, sir. Because nothing you're doing makes sense. And it does seem just nuts. I mean, even yesterday, it just seems nuts. First, you have meltdown with one reporter. Then, after Iran hurls 11 warheads at your partner in the war against them, your attitude was, your thought was to tell a reporter that, for Netanyahu, even before you call Mr. Netanyahu, then after that you tell another reporter he'll do what I say. Sir, that was yesterday. You're jumping shark yet again. I mean, really, sir. It's not, when you lashed out at the Europeans because they wouldn't just come and help you open up the strait when, they're not involved. You didn't get a coalition. It's just, you have to deal with the cards that as they are, and you even help deal them, sir. Lest you forget, you started this war, sir. To your point. It wasn't whatever else. I'm not saying it wasn't 47 years in the making of these people getting away with lots of funding. I'm not saying anything about that, but in point of fact, let's not, it's just, I do not think you're doing any favors, and you are being very flippant, whether it is about Israel or their self-defense or even our own. It was a little love tap with the drones, and then they got shot down. It was beautiful. Doot, doot, doot. They fell like birds or whatever you say. Sir, if one of them would have hit any of our ships, it would have killed many people. You understand that about it? So it's a ceasefire in name only. You shouldn't probably be that flippant about it. And even saying, well, maybe if they killed more of our sailors or something, then maybe I'd end this. You're desperate for a deal in writing in a piece of paper by the same CNN lying gooks. All you go, those Democrats on CNN, how could you're hyper obsessed about people who are just as dishonest as you, sir. Printing the right thing and being able to, the word deal. Sir, there's not going to be a deal with the IRGC. They don't want one, sir. Look what they just did yesterday. Who are you listening to, sir? Because I'm not trying to bash your team. Rubio's trying to say smart, I'm sure Witkoff and your son-in-law are trying to do right. They say they're trying. They're probably not the main problem here in the way of these people. They're not good negotiators. They're bullshit artists, and you don't call them out on it. So whether you want to not shoot or not, you had a congressional problem, right? But you seem to solve it with just complete BS, right? So. Because they're so weak and did not do the right thing, lest you forget, no one's allowed to, you had full authority for up to 60 days to do what you did, but after that, no, you don't. You need congressional approval unless you get an extra 30 days, but you guarantee just to draw down. You did none of those things, sir, but what you did do was you sent the Secretary of War, I suppose it was, right? Because that's not Secretary of Defense, it's Department of War now, right? So you sent Mr. Hegseth to the Congress to explain to them that actually, no, you don't need congressional approval because that war has come to an end and now you're in a ceasefire. And so, even though but they did not push back, is the thing. They didn't push back. So, rather than you squiggling and worming because the second you say it's no longer a ceasefire, clearly it's not a ceasefire. I mean, they have been bombing plus like a naval blockade to begin with as a military action. Of course, I mean, it's a bunch of, it's stupid and slippery, sir. But because they didn't push back, right? All you need to do, it's no problem. Whenever you want to resume, you just say, okay, Operation Epic Sequel. Operation, I got up to 60 days. And then I'll send you a letter if I need. I mean, you would just, at this point, you would just do that because they're just as dysfunctional as you. And I mean, of course, you should have just gone and gotten congressional approval if you're going to go longer than 60, 90 days. And I tell you, sir, I agree with your blockade. I was under the impression you were going to actually try to free up the ships that were stuck in there for the other countries so that Iran can just chirp, 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 but the traffic can flow freely. I understand that might be a tall order because it's a big body of water. It's easier said than done, maybe. But I also understand you. Wait a minute, they have no navy and they just got a couple Boston whalers with guns or whatever it is, and yet, because the word ceasefire and you want a deal, sir. Deal or no deal, and Mr. President, they have bombed and have lobbed the stuff. Will you do deal or no? I mean, it's literally a nut, sir. No deal. All right, Sarah, because there is no deal. They're not close to a deal. Everyone, including themselves, points out what their sticking points actually are. Sir, they want half their billions of assets released before anything else is done, before they'll even consider opening all they care about is money and how are they going to squiggle out of it. So the one smart thing is that the whole time, at least, whatever the economic pain for the other countries, they're not doing too well. Plus, they clearly got internal problems that they had to shut the internet off after there was so much pressure they had to turn it back on. So you would understand whenever these chirps are projecting, yeah, they're going to have some, but you keep thinking, but then that means I can get them to sign a deal and I'll win. That means they can stay in power because you'll give them a lifeline with a deal, stupid. I just don't understand it, sir. Take a look at what you said on day one in a war. Take a look at your own words. Take a look at your own speech, sir. Does that sound like the type of people you want to do a deal with? I bet you say for yourself, oh, the Iranian people are mad at me. I might do this deal, but you know what? Nah, sir, you don't know what you're doing, sir. It's that. Anyway, I am praying about it, and I sincerely hope you listen to different people, sir. You are giving them the talking points that they are using against you, sir. And you're fixated on a deal, sir. But you even said, Israel, just accept them. I mean, sir, you really need to talk to anyone at all who just understands they want peace for the whole region, even Israel, even the other countries, even our country, sir. But especially if you cared at all about the people of Iran, which was one of your main, and making sure you defang that regime, sir, so they can't do that to anyone in the region, Israel or the Saudis or anyone else, sir. I don't understand. Really, that is why one said, unless you better make damn sure you understand you have an end game and you have a good plan before you would do anything, because it's easy to get into wars, but hard to get out of them, sir. And then, of course, domestically, you just have, and there's no people who are loyal opposition, but at least they are loyal. They understand, no, we don't need, the country and the whole world to go to heck just so we can blame just Trump, even as their derelict of duty. Because even if you didn't go to them and ask for a declaration like you should have, because that's the law in our country, right? They could have still, there's like that that other way where they only need 2 senators from each party to sign a thing, and it's just as good as a declaration, which is how we actually got into Afghanistan, Iraq, it's got us where they propose it. But either way, it's dysfunctional, sir. But like I say, you can easily get around that one now. Oh no, Operation Epic Sequel, it's a completely different, we got 60. You would just do that at this point, sir, if need be. I'm not trying to tell, why would anybody, let alone, citizen residents want to espouse anything that might lead to more death and destruction? It's the exact opposite. But look what they're doing, sir. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But ceasefire in name only, where they get to bomb with impunity and lob bombs at in the whole region, let alone our ships. And then you just go, do, and it'll be a deal, and it will be good, and just trust me, even as that's not a great position, sir. So, but whoever assured you no, really, the deal is the important thing, sir. I don't understand. The only thing you're right about is the IRGC is not worth doing deals with, sir. It's not to be trusted. You can see they are not good at negotiations. They are good at bullshit artistry, and then no one calls them out. They are good at getting their proxies to break a ceasefire, and then when the Israelis who are hot-headed respond, then they say, aha, I've broken it, and they get to lob bombs, but then you say, don't lob bombs back. You don't understand something, sir. You're not, like I said, these people are fighting for their survival, so their backs are against the wall, and they're thinking on one level. Then there's you mad at CNN because they're still mean to you. Even as every one of them's dishonest, the whole country it's a gaslighting session. All day long, you're all smollett, and I know that. If you wanted to get into that, sir, how corrupt and stuff with our country, maybe you would not be worried what Fox or CNN print about you, sir, or say on the Twitter, because they're not. But all you care about, those Democrats are giving me bad. Wow, and the sky is blue, sir. So really, at least you did that. The best thing you have going is that blockade is still in effect for now. Why do you insist on doing a deal with people who are trying to crater it every day and are now telling the Houthis to start trouble in the Red Sea? Why are you like that, sir? What do you know that even no one else, even the world leaders, seem to know about a deal with Iran that you're sucking up to the new Ayatollah? He seems not, there's something screwy there, sir. Just going on record, sir. So in the exact same way, I tried to not chime in, but that one thing with the Strait of Hormuz, no, I'll chime in. Same here, because if you don't understand, it's as complicated, and you're acting like, it's just, you can't, it's going to get away from you real quick if you do not reassess. The worst thing you could do would be some deal with the IRGC, sir. Period.